Hello everyone, this week's Parsha is Parashat Yitro. Now, we know Parashat Yitro is the Kabbalat Torah, is the time when we receive the Torah. It's the time, the Parashat Yitro is the time when the Jewish people said, Naaseh v'nishma, and Hashem came down with his presence, Hashem's presence came down with his, like they say, entourage, came down to the Mount of Sinai, and the whole Jewish nation was able to see the voice of Hashem, to hear the voice of Hashem. Like the Torah says, that the Jewish people saw, not only heard, but they saw the voice of Hashem. And like we know, the first two commandments, the 10 commandments, were given on Har Sinai, and the first two commandments, Hashem said it, and the Jewish nation, they heard Hashem's voice directly from Hashem. Now, like I said, Hashem's angels, everybody were there. Now, we're not going to talk about this, but we will talk about Haftarah. This week's Haftarah is in Yeshaya, and it talks about Hashem's throne and Hashem's like angels and everybody. So the Haftarah says that Yeshaya Hanavi, he saw the vision, he saw the Kiseh HaKavot, the throne of glory, he saw Hashem's throne, and he saw the entire heavenly court. He saw angels, they going into Bet HaMikdash, and the whole Bet HaMikdash was filled with smoke. And Yeshaya, he says these words: "Oy li ki nidmeti, woe to me, for I am doomed." Now, the word nidmeti, Rashi explains. He explains it comes from the word like met, nidmeti. It comes from the word met, which means die. So Yeshaya says, woe, he says, look, he says, I see these angels, and woe to me that I see all this, and I think I'll die from this. Okay, that's the explanation. That's the explanation that Rashi gives. But Dubna Magid, the famous Dubna Magid, he explains the word kinidmeti a little bit different. The words kinidmeti, he explains a little bit different. He says, nidmeti comes from the word dimyon. Dimyon means imagination. So Yeshaya was saying, woe to me, for I am living the world of imagination, that I live in my imagination. And Magid Midubna, he gave a mashal to explain this. He says like this. He gives a story to explain what Yeshaya was saying, the prophet Yeshaya was saying. So he says, one time there was a small village. In that village, they had a very small Jewish community, maybe like 30 families. And the community could not afford to get a rabbi. So the person who knew the most, he served as a rabbi. He served as a rabbi. He wasn't officially a rabbi. People would come over to him and they would ask him the day of Yortzeit, when is the Yortzeit? They would ask him when is the bar mitzvah, and he would get complicated. He was able to answer the questions. It's not this, but sometimes he got hard questions, harder questions. But according to that level, because he wasn't so knowledgeable, for him it was considered to be like a hard question. And somehow he was able to answer it, to come out from the situation. So he thought of himself. He says, "Wow, people are coming to me; they're respecting me." He thought of himself as a great rabbi, and people, because he was the smartest, because he was the most knowledgeable in Torah on their level. He was the most knowledgeable person, so they would give him a special honor in the shul. They would give him a special kibbut. They would give him a certain aliyot that only rabbis receive. So the man thought of himself. he said that I'm the rabbi, and he acted as a rabbi, and he demanded an honor as a rabbi. But one day, our scholar, this scholar, he had to travel to a big city. He goes to a shul, he comes to a shul, and he sees people are learning Ein Yaakov. Now, Ein Yaakov is not such a, people who not so much in the Gemara, they learn Ein Yaakov. It's more about Agadot, stories, and everything. They're sitting and learning, and they're explaining. Now he's listening to them. He says, wow, these people are probably very smart and very big scholars. Probably these people are big scholars. Why? Because this person, he did not understand what they were saying. And then he went to a different shul, and he saw the people who were learning Mishnayot. He's listening to them, and he's not even understanding what they're saying. He said, wow, probably these people are big scholars also. Probably they're bigger than them. And then he goes to a different table. He sees they're learning Gemara. He completely lost it. He did not understand anything, what was going on. So he said, wow, probably they're a bigger scholar. But then suddenly he realized, he said, you know what? It's probably not them. Probably they're not like biggest scholars. It cannot be the whole, everybody here are the biggest scholars. It's probably not them. It's probably me. I'm the one is the problem. I'm the problem. It's not them. Which means, they know, but it doesn't mean that they're the biggest scholars. It's me. It's me who doesn't know how to learn. It's me who does not know anything, And then he realized that he was deceiving himself. And he screamed out, and he said, Oi, Li, he said, woe to me, kinidmeti, that I lived in the fantasy world. The whole time I was thinking that I'm a big scholar, that I'm a rabbi, I'm this and that, but I'm realizing I'm really nobody. Meaning compared to them, to regular people who live in the big city, I'm really no one. But even when I go back to my city, I'm really nobody. I'm really not a rabbi. But then he realized that he does not know En Yaakov, he does not know Gemara, he does not know Mishnah, he does not know Chumash, he does not know anything. But he realized that really he's not a rabbi, he's not that big scholar. But that realization had to come to him after he saw someone who's greater than him. Now, so same thing says Magid Dubna. So Magid Midubna, he also says, same thing, Yeshaya the prophet, when he saw the angels, when he saw how the angels, how they act, he saw the angels, how they, the way angels react and whatever they do, when he saw that, he said, I think that I'm a prophet. Yeshaya Hanavi said, I think I'm a prophet, and people come to me for advice, and they consider me Ish Elohim, the man of God. But now, after seeing the angels, and I see the holiness of the angels, I realize that, woe to me. He said, woe to me, that I was living in that illusion, that I was living in the illusionary world. And he said, and in truth, Yeshaya says, I'm the man of impure lips, Now, so what do we learn from all this? What's the lesson for us? Sometimes, many of us, me, everybody, sometimes we live in that, fantasy world, and sometimes we believe that we are holy, that we are extremely holy or righteous and everything. Sometimes we have to ground ourselves, and we have to, from time to time, and we have to remind ourselves, who are we? We have to remind ourselves, who are we? In what level am I? What am I? And that will help us to grow better and better and better. Because sometimes when we think, I'm already reached this level, there's no room for me to grow. No, that's wrong. You have to realize sometimes, who am I? Who are you? Do you think that you're so holy? Do you think that you're so righteous? No, you have to grow. There's constant growing and growing and growing. After 120 years, when a person goes to heaven, and then they show him that who he really is, then it will be too late. That's why now is the time when a person has to realize, and he has to fix himself and realize who he really is in order to grow bigger and bigger and to become a better Jew. Have a great Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.